Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's Friday, the 21st, right here of November. I've got it right in front of me. And I'm going to discuss a little more about uh, my categories that I moved up to the top section. I've gotten some feedback, and people like it because it's much easier to find. I pulled it out from the pile, and I just want to go over that a little bit more, and then maybe look at something else. Now, the markets have been really wild yesterday and today. Yesterday was a huge reversal after a huge move up, and today it's doing the same thing. So this is a very dangerous market. If you know what you're doing, you're a very short-term trader. Maybe you can make some money, or maybe you can lose a lot of money. But it's up to you. I'm going to talk about the intraday sector stock rotation. I also may talk about the volume spike scans if I have time. Just remember, the market is your teacher, and that's another lesson traders are learning today. Any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. I'm going to begin here. This is the NASDAQ futures. You can see futures, of course, trade all night. The activity starts picking up around 4 a.m., somewhere in here, and then when the general market, the cash market opens, you can see the volume coming in. And it had a good start to the day, and then it sold off hard. Up around here, it was around 24,288, got all the way down to 23,928, and then buyers stepped in. I want to show you Bitcoin. Now, we're talking about $85,000 here for a single contract. It got down to 8750, and it's up $5,000 from there from early this morning. So it's been wild. I see no store of value in crypto, but that's something that's been promoted, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money investing in crypto. So you better know what you're doing. But $5,000 in a matter of hours on a single contract. You can see the time and sales here. All these contracts are single contracts. Currently, it's down $930 for the day. I think it was down around 3,000 early. Can't remember. Well, 807.50, and it's 85. So it was down. What's 85? 295 from 87.50. Around $4,500 off the lows. So take 45 away from that, and you'll see that it's been a wild ride. Okay, let's go back here and get on the futures and see how they're doing now. You can see they found support down here. There was a volume spike here, but it doesn't look like a selling climax. But then the volume settled down here. This support held, and then there was a buy signal right here, an effort to rise. But we'll see how it goes throughout the day. Now, let's take a look at NVIDIA. I mentioned last week I had a friend that bought NVIDIA at the top, or within a couple of dollars of it, and it has been. I've heard all the talking heads on CNBC after the earnings came out. Buy NVIDIA. It's going to go to $300 within the next 6 months. And anybody who took that advice obviously got hammered. Well, I shouldn't say that. It could still get there. But anyway, it didn't react the way all the promoters thought it would. And it's been, the market's so overpriced. So, what do you expect? You never listen to that stuff. I I only sat in on that earnings call to, not the call, but the commentary after the earnings were released, just to see what they were saying. Anyway, it's been a wild ride today, and I want to bring over this screen, and then I'm going to move on to what I really want to talk about. Okay, these are the many futures here. This is Amazon, Nvidia right here. You can see how it's traded today. Got all the way down to 172.93, $9 lower than it is right now. Fell hard. You can kind of see a selling climax here. And then there were some buy flags in it. If you can trade this stuff, great, but you have to be on it full time. This is Tesla. Geez, it got down to 384 this morning, something like that. It's 399. Meta, 582 to 592. Apple, 264 to 271 for the high. Google L is not doing so well today. AMD, PLTR. So you can just see, just track these and you'll see the market, or what is happening in that portion of the market. Now let's get on to this. This is what I really want to talk about today. I'm 5 minutes in and I haven't gotten anything done. Now where I am is right here, the intraday relative strength to the S&P sectors. These categories I moved down here, and I moved my market analysis categories up. And this will really help keep you on top of the market during the day. I got a lot of positive feedback about how easy it is to use compared to where they were buried. So you can see consumer discretionary is on top, and that is XLY. It's up 2.33% for today. It gapped up 0.67. It's trading at 87% of its daily range. It just moved down to number 2. Every 5 minutes these are updated. The healthcare sector's on top. Now, why did it move to the top? Well, it's because of the combo ranking I created, which is a very simple combo. The intraday range I weighted at 2, which gives it 66.7% of the rating, and the one-day change I rated at 1. I want stocks and groups moving to the top when they're trading near the top of their range, and you saw it in action there. The consumer discretionary, it's still near the top, but this one moved up because, well, look at this, the ranges are the same. But this one here, this is perfect. This one here, the percentage price change one day is 247 rather than 244. So going back to that combo, the weighting 2.0, 66.7 compared to 1.0 price. And that's why it moved above it, because these two are the same, but this with the 1% weighted on the one-day change or price moved ahead. So, they're essentially neck and neck. Let's go back to the consumer discretionary, the XLY. We can look at both of them. And that brings us to all of the stocks that are in this list. Very simple. The reason this works, the way I set it up, is because we'll just go into the XLY. I'll edit it. And what I did was I've created these groups in my market analysis warehouse, and I'm going directly to those groups. That's why you can leave your settings on all securities. You don't have to go down and search out these groups anymore. It's all done for you through the filter. So all of these stocks are in the XLY consumer discretionary. And what's on top? Williams-Sonoma, up 5.27% today, gapped up 0.54. Look at the range, top of the range. The percentage change, the last from the low, it's 502%. Because of the gap, if you do subtract the gap from the current price, should be the same. I mean, that's where those numbers come from. So anyway, it's a beaten down stock, but somebody thinks they're getting a bargain. Are they? I don't know. But this is the insight you get from using these scans. It pulls everything up for you. Now, Sears, it's beaten down also. So what can we tell from this? There's a lot of going on in this sector. You can see that in all these stocks. Maybe these are institutions that are just going to ride this out. They think they're getting great bargain. Now's the time to buy. Okay, now let's go back up here. Get my quick pick window. And let's go back to the sectors, and let's go to the healthcare sector, XLV. And this, remember, this is going directly to the groups that I created in my market analysis user groups. See if I can find that right in here. So it goes directly there. You don't have to change all securities. And you know how the combo works now. It's going to drive the intraday, the stocks with the biggest price movements and the intraday range to the top of the list. Cooper Company. Now we're finding a stock, I found a stock here that looks a lot stronger than some of that other stuff, but it's still, when you expand it, the whole screen, it's still a beaten down stock, but it's got a series of higher lows. There's a higher high, not a higher low, but about a comparable low right here. Found support, and it's breaking out, or trying to break out of this trading range. Okay, Revity. Make it full screen. Pretty similar looking stock. Boy, there's a lot of beaten down stocks in this market. Okay, now here we have a stock with some strength. Waters Corp. You can see up here looking at this, relative strength of the industry. Cyan is the industry. RSI. Cyan industry, green is RSI. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused here. Okay. Let me try this again. Cyan is the industry. The green line is the relative strength compared to the industry. The relative strength within the industry is probably a better way to say it. And you can see that it has been performing along with the industry, or maybe a little bit more. This little better performance. This is life science equipment. But, you know, this is a good looking chart here. But it's also nearly a $400 stock. Okay, now let me show you some other things you can do with this. Remember, I'm sorted on the relative strength rank. When you do a column sort, it pops in here to this window, and then I'm on a raw combo rank. Now, you know, this didn't give me much here on the relative strength. So what I want to do is I'm going to go down here and, I can use any of these fields. I'm going to go under technicals. I'm going to go under percentage price change. And let's go to the percentage price change from the beginning of the week, which would be the open on Monday morning, to the current price, and use that for the sort. And you can see that it changes all of this. These are it's no longer sorted by relative strength rank, but my secondary sort is still the raw combo rank. So let's just take here, and you can see that Regeneron Remember, my sort is on since the beginning of the week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where it was at the beginning of the week. It's following through. Today it had a little gap down, trading at 82.2% of its range. Let's look at the next one. SOLV. Wow. This baby has really moved up. Let's go back and, well, let's do one more. Lilly hit a record high today. It did. So from the beginning of the week, you can see that even though the market has been crappy, there are strong stocks in good companies that hold. Okay, let's look at J&J and change the sort again. Look at J&J. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's just do one day and see what happens. I'm getting a lot of the same ones. How about GE Healthcare? Haven't looked at it. But see, you're not getting strong-looking stocks like I did when I did the sort on 5 days. Let's do a 21-day. Here's Cardinal Health. Here's Lilly. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Regen. This is why you buy strength rather than weakness. Depends on where you need to look for a good entry point, though. Well, let's just go back to Cardinal. Where was the entry point? You could have bought down here, yes, but here's the gap up. Look at the volume coming in here. There was a pocket pivot. The VPOC turned positive here. There was, well, actually, the buy signal is back here. I'm sorry. Right here on the VPOC and the crossover. And then here was pocket pivot confirmation, these blue bars. And if you could have, if that was earnings, I assume it was, if you'd have ridden through earnings, it would have been a big winner. And Lilly, I'm not going to look at any more of these. I think you get the point. But this is a very flexible tool that I really haven't emphasized over the years. But you can change your sorts any way you want to. You can go through these, and if you have questions, send me an email or get on our board and on the teams and ask me questions. I'm feeling better, so I'll try to be on more. Okay, so this is really helpful to stay on top of the market. Now, you can go down here if you want to look at intraday relative strength of the S&P. Look, well, I have to change. My sort is still the same. So if I want the short term, I just go back to this. Ingersoll Rand. But now, you're getting a bunch of junk. People are bottom fishing. Look at that. Target can't get out of their own way. Unfortunately, it's a nice store, too. Okay, what's our sort? I want the secondary sort to be raw. And I want the primary sort to be under technicals. I don't want that. I want price change. Okay, I'm going to go from the beginning of the week and then raw combo. And say okay. This is all securities, and we're getting the same stocks up. Well, Walmart's here now. But this is compared to the S&P 500. Now, had a big day yesterday and profit taking today. But as far as prospecting goes, I think, the best way to stay on top of it. And in this other folder, you can do it to the Qs. These are all in the QQQ. Weekly optionable stocks and ETFs. Best optionable stocks and ETFs. Stocks and industry groups. Here's the market insight group. Now I would just go back to the regular combo ranking here, and you can see materials, small cap. Just gives a good quick reading of what's going on. Most followed stocks. VPA bullish as of yesterday. 2 out of 3 are going up. Okay, that pretty much covers that. I want to do a quick under my working scans, which I tucked under my main directory. Volume spikes. I've talked about this before. These are the volume spikes from yesterday. These are the volume spikes today, which appeared yesterday, to see if they're following through. And you can see that some of them are. So if I bring up the chart, now you can find a lot of good looking charts in here, especially near the top because of the combo. Let's look at the combo. I weighted this totally different. I'm looking for strong stocks that are moving up today. They're well up on their 52-week low, near the high range and so on, above the 100-day, above the moving averages here, EMA fan trend up, and so on. And they have heavy volume today because you have to have 150%. Now this is the end of day. Okay, yeah, I got confused there. These came up yesterday, and I'm seeing which ones are following through today. And let's just flip through a few of these. Look at that beauty. Missed this one. That looks like a buyout. That one's had a nice run. Looks like it's regrouping around $2.40. This one's forming a flag. This one's forming a flag. This one's profit taking and now buying back in today. Now, let's go down to the next one here. This is using today's data only. I'm not looking at the end of day yesterday. And Herbalife is at the top of the list. And if you look at the volume compared to the 20-day, the 50-day, and the 90-day, you can see that it is moving up, and it's been moving up for several days. Big percentage gain. Adaptive Biotech Corporation. I'm going to get rid of that crosshair. Just go down the list. There's plenty of good stuff here. I mean, if you like playing cheap, Paul Reike would have loved these stocks. We miss Paul. Now here's one that gapped open today, but you can see it didn't hold the gap. Yeah, there are losers, no question about it. But there's a lot of these that are moving, and they continue to move. Now I like that scan. This one's just 125. This is 150. Has to be at least 150 for one of these volume columns. This is 125. I don't look at it much. But this momentum combo up intraday, this accesses all securities. And you can see there's 3,481 that are up today. And you're going to find I didn't put the volume requirements in this filter. It's just Well, what is the combo? Let's take a look at it. I forgot. It's the combo without the volume requirements. Okay. So it's going to find stocks that are moving up without the heavy volume requirements. If these columns over here are red rather than green, you're not getting the real heavy volume. There's giga cloud technology. But anyway, it shows you where the momentum is in the market today. I'm going to end this here. I hope you learned something from this. HDSI is an extremely powerful program. It takes time to learn it. I'm still learning, still sharing information after all these years, and it's just a really good program. I mean, the technology isn't the latest, but I can learn more and show you more from this program than I could any other. Thanks for listening, and have a good weekend and a good next week.